What are the big beats of a romantic comedy?
Like all movies, we need our big inciting incident. There's a reason why this happened now. We really should have a meet cute between the two characters. We really should have some fun and games where they fall in love and just enjoy each other's company, where the stakes kind of mellow out a little bit. We really need a big midpoint reveal that sends the story in a whole other direction. And then, of course, we need our all is lost moment where we really think they're not going to end up together. If we don't have that, if there's no threat of them not ending up together, then we don't really have that last, 20 pages that we need. And then we need a happy ending.
Right. And you mentioned earlier Hugh Grant.
Yes.
So if could we do sort of the big beats of Hugh Grant in every romantic comedy?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's always the meet cute. Like he was very good at the great meet cutes.
Right.
For sure, yeah.
Sure, sort of a little maybe witty comment and then it bumps into somebody or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You say that the TV romantic comedies that you write should have 9 acts. Can you explain more?
Yeah, it's sort of a 9-act structure that has been explained to me for TV movies, for commercial breaks essentially, but also is very, very helpful just for story. I find it a great map as far as pages. The biggest difference being that the first act is going to be about 17 to 20 pages, and the rest are going to be around 10, 8, and then shorter as we go as the attention span of the audience declines later into the story. And I kind of like having that as a guideline. In the first act of a romantic comedy, we really need to see the problem. We really need to see our characters. If she has something from the past, we need to see the two leads meet, and we need to really set up the whole movie and get the audience hooked.
Again, with the sort of female career, I don't know if it differs with rom-coms versus thrillers.
I don't know if it differs. I think it's a really, I've found in creating female protagonists, leads, it's really like a driving force usually for their story. It says a lot about a person, I think, what they do for a living. I think for the rom-coms, you probably will have a little more relatable career, a little more maybe grounded career, and something that people would find, aspirational.
Right, like what? What's grounded in aspirational?
Well, I think, anything kind of, doing anything with nature or doing anything with helping people, a nurse or a school teacher, things of that nature that that we associate as a great person,
What about unrelatable female characters? Are they usually the quirky friend or the villain on some
Yeah,
side?
I think as far as for rom-coms, I've always been told that we really want the female to be the hero. We don't want her to veer off in too many directions of doing too many things that we wouldn't agree with. And if she does do that, then it has to be with a very good heart or almost by mistake, or she needs to realize that she's done wrong. And we don't want our female protagonists to ever, at least in this genre, to ever sort of be the bad girl.
Right. Save that for more the reality TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's the whole baddies term
Right,
that is new to me, I guess.
Yeah.
But the sort of that might not be relatable enough within the rom-com.
Right. I think we always want to see her as our moral voice, that we're tracking and following, and we need her to get in trouble. We need her to question things, but we need to know that she's always going to kind of do the right thing still. When it comes to love, when it comes to her friends, when it comes to her family in a rom-com.
What are the things that a romantic comedy has to have?
I think both characters need to have something that keeps them from falling in love. Otherwise, and that can be internal, it can be external. But most of all, I think romantic comedies are about transformation. Both characters learning from each other and accomplishing something together, and being in a different state at the end of the movie than they were in the beginning. And usually, ideally, love being the theme that makes that happen for them.
Right. With like Bridget Jones' Diary, it's just so refreshing to have a character that's not perfect.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that I find relatable, but it seems like some of these female characters, we want to like look up to them and aspire to them, and I don't know,
Yeah, I think it's more of a sort of an industry genre thing. I think in the TV movie genre, it's one way, and then maybe in the studio feature world, it can kind of has less rules. But those are some of the rules I've come across as far as our female lead. Yeah.
Right. So for the more 9-act structure, it has to be a little more buttoned up and moral compass type of thing.
I think so. Yeah, and also the genre itself is gonna lead to that. We're gonna be PG rated in general to start. So there's not going to be too much room for too much scandalous behavior or anything.
Sure.
And also, I think we really we need the girl, the lead, to have a problem, but we also want her to solve it morally and ideally through love.
Is there any kind of known formula that you've learned either from your own experience, producers, for the rom-com?
I think it's definitely been pointed out to me many times that we just need those certain moments. It doesn't necessarily have to be broken down into acts or we don't have to put a name on it, but we do need to get the two people together quite quickly. We need to know that there's a reason they cannot be together, and then ideally we need them to work together on something. We need to find a way to get them screen time together. So if they can have a common goal, it's very ideal. And we need to also see both sides. It's the only genre where we may have one lead, but we also need to see a bit and a piece of the other lead as well. For example, we're going to most likely follow the female protagonist, but we also need to see the point of view of the male lead, and we need to find ways to get both of those so that we know what's going on both sides, so that we care about both sides. Otherwise, we don't have a point of view as an audience from both of them. And we need to see them change together and have a whole new reality at the end, is what I've always been told, is make sure that this is now a new reality from where we started.
How do you keep the relationship locked in a rom-com?
I think it's a little helpful to know where you're at in the story. Ideally, we're probably going to be a little more at odds in the beginning. It just creates conflict, which creates, pages in story. And then I think as long as we've built a strong backstory for both those characters, that gives us a lot of chances to reveal that to each other and have those nice moments as well. And then justifying that they're actually falling in love with each other, justifying by the time we get to the point of saying, I don't care, I just want to be with you, that we believe it, that we believe there's been enough built, that we've seen enough. And again, that usually comes from them having a common goal together that they pursue and create some conflict, which then, of course, brings them closer.
Have you ever written a romantic comedy that does not have a happy ending?
No. They do exist, but I think by nature, the ones I've always written have sort of been required to have a happy ending, and that gives you something to aim towards as well.
Okay, so it always has to have where they're going to be together at all against all odds, sort of thing.
Yes, but I think that's the trickiest. Bringing that up is the trickiest part about a rom-com, is we all know, right? We all know when they meet at page 10 that they're going to end up together. So we now have to find a way to keep otherwise we wouldn't be watching this rom-com, right? So we have to find a way for the next 80 pages to make that interesting, because it's sort of the only genre where we know that this is going to happen the second they meet.
How does the rom-com genre affect your writing style?
As far as my writing style, I think it just opens it up a lot to bring more of yourself into it. I like to think of myself as a bit of a hopeless romantic. And in that sense, I think love is a never-ending topic that we all think about, feel, struggle with, whatever. And I think there's so many stories based around that, why people do love, why they can't love each other, why they can't be together. And so for as far as styling, I think just bringing all of those life experiences and I guess thoughts about that topic of love.
If you had to be one character, a romantic comedy character, who would you be?
Ooh.
And which movie would it be?
Oh. I shouldn't say Pretty Woman. That's not good. Is that a rom-com? I would hope to be as dashing as Hugh Grant in any movie.
Sure.
No. But no, I do like how his characters start so far one way, usually, and then they learn and they go this far the other way. And to be able to pull that off as a writer and then as an actor and to be that character would be awesome, yeah.